Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today we're going to talk about Samaritan Counseling and the Ethics in Business Award, which is coming up. And with me right now, I have Stephen Shedler, you're the Executive Director, and Scott Snyder, you're Director of Consulting. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
For those of us who don't know what Samaritan does, what do you really do, Stephen?
So the conversation about Samaritan actually started in 1985. And the idea was at that time to create a counseling center that was giving very high quality services, but also accessible to the community. Accessible for folks that maybe didn't have the best insurance at that time or the means to pay and this and that, right?
Okay.
So in 1985, the conversation started. In 1987, we were incorporated and really got started rolling. And as the organization matured, the vision and mission of Samaritan grew and expanded and became what it is today, which is building healthy minds and strong communities. Healthy minds, strong communities. And that encompasses all aspects of our life.
Right.
Right? It encompasses our wellness as individuals, as families, where we work, maybe where we worship, all aspects of our life.
That's quite an undertaking, isn't it?
It is. There's never a dull day.
No, it's never a dull day. But it makes a huge difference in everyone's lives. Right, Scott?
Correct.
Yes.
And with the consulting side of the organization, we actually deal with businesses, churches, congregations, nonprofits. And what we do, we're on the people side of the consulting business. What we are able to do is organizational development, executive searches, leadership development, those kind of pieces. But we are also driven by the mission of Samaritan in the healthy minds and the healthy community. And more importantly is the really great part of the mission for the consulting group is all of our profits get driven back into the counseling center to be able to provide counseling services for the folks that can't afford it in our community. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the company because they get the expertise of our consultant team. They get their success in their businesses. We drive our business as far as the consulting group, and then we help the community for the folks that are less fortunate.
Wow, that's great. Now, the Ethics in Business Award started when?
It started about 2007. So this is our 15th year.
Okay, so I've got to ask, why? How? How did this come about?
Well, it ties into that idea of healthy communities again and lifting up businesses, and we thought there was an opportunity to highlight ethics in business. When a business operates in an ethical way and in a way that it's just a win for everybody. It's a win for the community, it's a win for the individual employees, it's a win for their families. So I just wanted to look at what encompasses ethical practice in business and just elevate that conversation and lift it up in the community.
So what is the criteria for those that are nominated?
So what we do is folks are nominated and they're based on a couple different criteria as far as integrity, transparency, stewardship, their life balance that they offer their employees or their teammates, as well as just in general ethics. And it's a very rigorous process, as you'll find out from some of the folks we're going to talk to today. They open their books, they open their businesses, they allow us to come in, do a site visit, we talk to their teammates or their employees to find out, what's going down there, how they're treated, what their practices are like, is it consistent? And then at the end of the day, we take all that information back as site visitors to a committee that then chooses the recipient of the award. And that usually happens, I think, this year on July 21st.
That's right.
At the Lancaster Country Club.
Exactly.
So everybody's invited.
Yes.
It's kind of a fun time.
Yes, it is.
It's fun because the folks that have been nominated are just outstanding folks in the community, and that's important, but also an opportunity to learn how they've done their business in the right way, in the ethical way, as well as an opportunity to talk to each other, network, get to know each other as a community.
Yeah, and bringing everybody together and talking about this is so key to the community, isn't it, Stephen?
It is, and one of the things I love about this award is that we've highlighted businesses of all different sizes. We've highlighted very small family businesses up to some of the Fortune 500 companies that are here in the county. So we've really looked at the businesses across the county, and it's just a really neat process to see.
Yeah. Now, you both are still relatively new to Samaritan Counseling, right? But this is such a great natural progression for you with your backgrounds. And I know you each really find it an important role that you have. Tell me what it means to you to be involved with Samaritan Counseling, Scott.
So for me, to be very honest with you, I'm probably at the point in my career where I've had a varied and vast career and been very blessed in the things I've been able to do. So it's an opportunity for me to bring all my pieces together, whether it's from the pragmatic clinical side of my livelihood, my administrative side, my consulting side, and to be able to work within an organization that has a true mission, driven by a mission. You know, the ethics in business is important because it says a lot about these companies. You know, a lot of people talk the talk, but these companies walk the walk. We're judged by our actions, not our intentions. And that's where Samaritan comes from. You know, we all live that mission day in and day out.
Yeah. And Stephen, you had the wonderful opportunity of getting involved with Samaritan Counseling, what, in the middle of COVID, right?
Indeed, I did, yes, yes. So I'm actually the third director for the organization. There was the founding director and a gentleman in between, Gerald, who did a great job for 10 years, and I took over for Gerald in September 2020. So yeah, in the middle of everything there with the corona. But one of the things that really caught my eye in my heart about Samaritan was how we don't just do one thing. We don't just do counseling, even though, you know, I come from a counseling background and I have my license to provide counseling, and I do provide that service for Samaritan. But I love that we're involved in all these other conversations, you know, with businesses, with congregations. And with this award, with Ethics in Business, it's just a great opportunity to be part of an organization like that.
Absolutely. So the website, if we'd like to get more information, is what?
scclank.org.
Okay, scclank.org.
Yes.
All right. So can we find out more about this wonderful awards ceremony that is coming up on July 21st at Lancaster Country Club? That's on the website as well?
Indeed it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all of our upcoming events are always on the website, so check it out.
Okay. So services that somebody watching may want, we can find them on the website as well, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So everything on the website.
All right. So give me some categories.
So for the consulting side, the consulting group, we do organizational development, which is everything from leadership development to life coaching to executive coaching. We also do executive searches for our companies in the area. And we also have a congregational side that we work with congregations and pastors that are struggling sometimes, that want to grow, that are in transition. We have a tremendous team of experts that have been, you know, around in both the business world as well as the HR world, as well as the congregational ministerial world. And we continue to grow. We're doing some exciting things. We're developing some really cool programming. Our next program to hit the books is going to be an inclusion, diversity, and unity program that we're going to be able to offer to our organizations, as well as a culture of good program that basically involves how get companies involved with their team to be able to give back to the community, but to do it in a different aspect instead of just the standard, let's just write a check. How do we get involved with the community and how do we do things? So we're going to have a program with that as well.
Oh, that's great. Anything we forgot right now, Stephen?
We also partner with local school districts in our Teen Hope program. We offer mental health screening for teens in local school districts. It's been a really impactful program over the years.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you both for coming on and shedding some light to what Samaritan Counseling is and this wonderful award. We're going to talk to some of the nominees, so don't go away.
Lctv 66 is your community channel, and your donations keep us on the air and help to produce more local programs. Send your tax-deductible donation of $500, $100, or more to the address on the screen. Or think of it this way: for the price of a couple of movie tickets, you can help support your community channel. Send what you can and be a part of all that is good about Lancaster County. Thank you for your tax-deductible donation to Lctv 66, Lancaster's Connection.
Welcome back to Behind the Lines. Today we're talking about Samaritan Counseling and the Ethics in Business Award. Now we have two of the four nominees for this year. We have Andy Dula, you are president of E.G. Stoltzfus. Thanks for being here, Andy.
You're welcome.
And Lisa Taylor, you are the owner and founder of Evolution Power Yoga. Thank you for being here as well.
Thank you.
Wow, what does this mean to you to be a nominee for this award, Lisa?
When I first learned that we were a nominee, I didn't really believe it. I looked at the past winners, and they are some very impressive community leaders. And I just thought, us? Are you sure? We're just a small business here in Lancaster County.
But this is very cool. What about you, Andy? How does it feel?
It feels great, but first and foremost, it's just it's another representation of our team.
Yeah.
And the team has built our reputation in the Lancaster and South Central Pennsylvania PA marketplace, and so it's really thanks to them.
What's the age of the business, Andy?
So we were founded in 1968
Okay.
by Elam G. Stoltzfus Jr., who we refer to as EG. So yeah, we celebrated our 50th anniversary a couple years ago
Excellent.
now. Yeah.
What do we need to know? What do you do for those of us who really don't understand everything?
So we have two companies. E.G. Stoltzfus Homes does neighborhood homes and real estate development, And then we also do custom homes and remodeling. And then we have E.G. Stolzfus Commercial Construction that does commercial construction. I call it resimercial construction. It's commercial construction with a residential flair, so
Okay.
apartments, multifamily, that kind of stuff.
All right. So Lisa, boy, Evolution Power Yoga, you've been around since when?
For 20 years.
Wow, has it been that long now? Okay. And how did you start this?
Honestly, as a hobby, I discovered yoga as something I needed to be up to being my best self, and then realized I needed to be around people who were doing that as well.
Okay. So when we talk about ethics in business, that is so key. Tell me more about ethics in business with you, Andy.
Yeah, so I think, the one thing I would focus on right away is the relationships we've built over the years in our industry. The construction industry can be notorious for moving from one relationship to another in terms of subcontractors and that sort of thing. So we are working with subcontractors that we've worked with in multiple generations now as a 50-year-old company. So continuing to relate to subcontractors in that way instead of just moving on to the next one who may have a better price, et cetera, we value relationships. So that's a key part of being ethical for us is relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What would you say, Lisa?
Much like homes are the product of E.G. Stolzfus, I would say our product is ethics. Though many people come to yoga thinking that they'll get a great workout, some peace of mind, really what is the ultimate outcome is the quality of being a better human being yourself, and then as a better human being, you make a difference in your community. One of my favorite stories that when I feel like, will I keep going on doing this, that comes to mind is an individual who owns a very large company locally, who himself came for many years and took private lessons. And over those years, I can see how he changed. And then he became a different leader in his business. And that impacted hundreds of employees in his business.
Wow, and I'm sure that's not the only person that this has had this result for. And it's a ripple effect then, isn't it?
So 5 years ago, we also started a nonprofit. It was our teachers and our students who began Aim to Empower. And what we do is bring yoga and meditation classes to those who don't have access in the community. For example, Lancaster County Prison. And the reason being that everybody should have access to the tools that help them to be their best self. And so that's why we began that, bringing the classes to the community, because the whole community changes when an individual changes.
Oh, absolutely. It really does. Andy, give me some stories. Give me something that really sticks out to you where we're talking about ethics.
Well, there would be multiple stories, but I can think of a story of a family who came to us really out of the blue. And our tagline is building one story at a time. So this family came to us and said, your tagline makes me think that you may be interested in doing this. So they have a special needs young man in their home. And due to this person's special needs, they were outgrowing their home. And so the question becomes to us, would you be willing to help us expand this home so we meet the needs of this individual? So that's an example where we just all jumped in. From a design standpoint, from a construction standpoint, we're actually working on it right now, where being ethical is giving back to the community, giving back to people in need. And so we've done that multiple times throughout our history. Being involved locally and internationally, Homes for Hope. We build homes and those proceeds from those homes go to support organizations like that. So it's giving not only internally to our own, but also to people in the community and that sort of thing. So that's an ethical practice for us.
Yeah.
In addition, for us, I would talk about work, life, family, friends, faith, balance. E.G., our founder, was notorious for telling people, E.G.'s not with us anymore, was notorious for telling people at 5:30 in the evening when they're still in the office, go home to your family. Work isn't everything. So that, as an organization, inspiring our team members to consider that balance of faith and family and friends and that work is just one sliver of that pie.
Yeah.
So
And that's where it starts with leadership.
Sure.
And
We try and model that.
Yeah. You have a website, right?
We do.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So egstolzfus.com, you'll find links to all of our commercial project galleries, our neighborhoods throughout South Central Pennsylvania. And those places you can contact people who we'll help you find the home you want, or the remodeling project you want to do, or the custom home you want to do, or the commercial project, that sort of thing. So-
Okay.
And also we have there's a web page there too that would link you to some of the organizations that we work with that I just mentioned.
Okay, great. Got a website too, Lisa.
A couple.
Yes,
so
tell me what they are.
evolutionpoweryoga.com, where you can see our classes that happen in our 3 studios, where you can tap into our on-demand studio from around the world. You can learn to become a teacher or deepen your own practice. And then aimtoempower.org to learn more about the nonprofit.
Okay, that's great. And I know with you, leadership, with who you have, and ethics. Do you want to address that?
The question is about how leadership reflects ethics in the
Yeah.
community. So it's the foundation of all of our training. We have in our yoga teacher training, and then inside of our employees, a lot of different ways and policies that have us understand how not to avoid a conflict, but instead how to resolve a conflict.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
It's a great life skill.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. You both are so deserving. Thank you for being here today and for all that you really do in the community.
Thank
It does
you.
make a difference. It really does.
Thanks.
We're going to take a break, and we've got some more nominees. Stay with us.
LCTV 66 is your community channel, and your donations keep us on the air and help to produce more local programs. Send your tax-deductible donation of $500, $100, or more to the address on the screen. Or think of it this way: for the price of a couple of movie tickets, you can help support your community channel. Send what you can and be a part of all that is good about Lancaster County. Thank you for your tax-deductible donation to LCTV 66, Lancaster's Connection.
Welcome back to Behind the Lines, Samaritan Counseling and the Ethics in Business Award. We have 2 more nominees that are with us right now. John Esch of Joyland Roofing, you are the president. Thank you for being here, John.
My pleasure.
And also Matt Hostetter, Zootropolis, you are the owner, one of the owners, and
Yes.
thank you for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Okay, this is great. So this is a family business, is that right, John?
That's correct.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the business.
So my father started it in 1993, pretty much just as a means of supporting the family and kind of running his own schedule. And it remained as such, remained like that for a number of years into the early 2000s, mid-2000s. And I left the business for a number of years, helped a friend run a business, got some really good managerial and leadership experience through that. And then my father had other interests in 2015 and 16 and invited me to come back and purchase the business from him, which I did. So since 2016 kind of has been where my leadership started there.
That's been great, hasn't it, to
It's
be
been
able
fun.
to do that, right?
Certainly.
So what is the scope of the business? Explain that to us.
So I like to say we provide one of the 3 basic elements of life. I know it sounds really crazy, but you think of food, shelter, right? There's a couple of basic elements,
Right.
and we provide the roof, which is very important, a necessity for everyone. So in the roofing space, it's residential roofing is the majority of our business at this point, and a large section then is also commercial, so flat roofing, warehouses, multifamily buildings, and so forth.
Okay, all right, that sounds really good. So now, let's see, Matt, you are one of how many owners?
There's 5 of us who are managing partners.
Okay.
So we have some silent partners as well, but the 5 of us who call ourselves managing partners are owners of the business, but also involved in the operations.
Okay, so Zootropolis is amazing.
Thank
But
you.
tell us more about this, how it started, and really what the purpose and function is.
So the original Zootropolis, Lee might get upset with me if I don't get the date right, but it was either 1996 or 1997 when my partner Lee Lindsay founded the original in her art studio on Lemon Street. And at the time it was just a really small art house independent movie theater. Sort of developed a cult following, great community presence over the years. Had eventually moved to a new location on the corner of Mulberry and James Street. And now in its current iteration, we're on Water Street, and we have grown from a small independent theater into a theater and performance space, restaurant, and distillery.
Wow, yeah, that encompasses a lot, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's a lot.
Never a dull moment, right? So let's talk about ethics in business and how it manifests. John?
Yeah, so a lot of people have frustrating experiences with home improvement contractors, especially in the residential space. And roofers are in one of the top categories for numbers of complaints on the Better Business Bureau year over year consistently. And so it's provided a great opportunity for us to kind of, for our customers and our community at least, kind of set the record straight when it comes to how contracting gets done in the home. Communication, people aren't sure what the price means, what it's for, those kinds of things. And so for us in the roofing space, it's really about doing right by people, and that means showing them what we're seeing. We take video inspections on people's roofs so they can actually see why we're prescribing things. And it's just really around that transparency thing that we find settles people's minds, and gives them confidence that they need.
And I'm sure you have stories. Is there a story that you could share with us where it's like, wow, yeah, this was really the right thing, the ethical thing?
Yeah, so actually it was a mistake on our part. One story I can think of where it's fairly recently, one of our inspectors went out and did a good job on the one roof plane that he was sent to inspect, but didn't take everything, didn't take the full scope into consideration, and so missed something. So we end up prescribing a fix, we go out and do it, and a roof leak persists. Not fun for us. So in this case, it's important for us to put ourselves in the mindset in the shoes of our customer. And that meant that we went back out, we revisited, we found out we had missed the problem, didn't charge them to, first of all, hardly charge them to do what we did first because there was an issue there, but there was a larger issue that we missed. And in the end, took a hit, but it's small to us when we recognize our reality isn't what's most important, it's the reality of the customers we're trying to serve. And trying to always put ourselves in your shoes to make sure that, at the end of the day, really, if you're not happy, we don't want to run away with your money.
No.
So it's important to us to make sure that it's a win-win.
And it's relationships.
Certainly.
Absolutely relationships. Matt, tell me how this manifests itself with Zootropolis.
Well, there are a number of ways that I could approach that topic, but one theme that keeps coming to mind is inclusion. So that theme of inclusion can apply to both employees and our patrons as well. And when it comes to our patrons, it's inclusion in the form of the programming that we're putting out. We're providing a very diverse array of programming in our theater. We've hosted everything from and continue to host everything from traditional bluegrass music to drag shows. There's a platform that we're providing for people from all walks of life to present their art and their work that they're passionate about. And when it comes to our employees, we try to be very transparent with everything that's going on. We have an annual meeting with all our employees where we go through all of our financials. We open our books to them. There's no detail spared. And it shows, we end up looking out at a lot of glazed over eyes because it's not really the most interesting thing, but we feel like it's important that we include our employees in those types of meetings and make sure that they're aware of decisions that we're making as it pertains to the ongoing strategic vision and direction of the business.
Absolutely. You have a website too, right? What is that?
Correct. www.zootropolis.com.
Really easy. Okay.
Yeah.
What are we going to find there?
You can find films and other live programming that we have coming up. You can view our current menus. You can also visit our website for our other business, Lancaster Distilleries, www.lancasterdistilleries.com, and view our full line of spirits. And we also do provide in-home delivery of our spirits as well that you can find.
Always good to know, right? Okay, John, you have a website too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, joylandroofing.com.
Okay.
You can find, obviously, a listing of our services. I like to tout the About Us page. You can see faces in the company, their bios, and kind of the reason for why we're in business. So that's always helpful in kind of learning more about us.
I think it is. Thank you both for what you provide to the community because you do make a difference. And thank you for the ethics in business that you have provided and continue to provide.
Love doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you don't want to miss the awards ceremony that's going to be held on Thursday, July 21st. It's at Lancaster Country Club. You can go to scclanc.org to find out more about that. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, reminding you to look behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.